Hey, this is Rob with Mongrel Bees. I want to show the way that I actually do my honey super. So in my brood chambers, I do foundationless or starter strip of foundation. Lots of reasons for that. Number one, the bees build whatever they want to. I don't try to cull just the drones, but there's a couple of benefits there. If the bees want to do small cell, great. If they want to do communication holes through the body of the hive, through the deep, they can do that too. Many times in a natural hive that I've done cutouts, you'll see a hole that goes all the way through. I don't know if that helps with air management. I definitely think that when the bees are clustered and they've got to move sideways, being able to move through a hole as opposed to around the outside of the body next to that cold wall of the hive, that's definitely going to be a benefit there. But honey supers, I like this because it allows me to spin them in an extractor. They're definitely a lot more portable. If you run things through an extractor and give bees drone comb, you're just gonna get a lot more honey. And some of these I'll actually just do a foundation strip if I want to do cut comb. Last year I had several pounds of cut comb, and it's because I was out of my hives and one hive was booming, and I thought I'd put in an extra box, a honey super box, and I didn't. I had a deep, and so I stuck a bunch of these in there and they filled it all out. But on the bottom of these, they gave me perfect cut comb size. So I did get cut comb last year. I need to be more deliberate about it this year and actually put in shallow frames. I have a couple shallow frame boxes. It's just hard to keep track. I need to paint them a special color. Anyway, we'll get back to this. So this is how I do it. I pop those in there. I glue these up first. And if you work at the bottom here, you can pop these in and out. Now, if that plastic's old, it's gonna be fragile, but you can just pop these in after they're fully assembled. It's not a problem, just start from one edge. So I fully assemble all my frames, keep them separate in a box, and then when I get near to time I need them, I can grab the frames and grab these, pop them all in there. If I needed to, say, use an A-frame medium and I need to use this for my brood chamber, I can pop these out and I can put it in a starter strip. So this one's super simple, but this is what I do. There are foam brushes, and where did I put them? Oh, here we go. All right. So there are a couple out there. This one's kind of splayed sideways. This one's kind of straight cut. The foam in these look different. This one looks like a more high quality foam. This one looks like a El Cheapo foam. Usually you can use these brushes, and as soon as they cool down, and then you're stuck. The other thing that happens sometimes with these cheap brushes from Harbor Freight is that the glue that's holding the foam on may or may not be heat activated, and all of a sudden the foam comes off. So keep a couple handy if you're right in the middle of this and it falls apart. But I use these awesome little crock pots. This one's Hamilton Beach. It's a crock pot. I throw my old wax in there. It's actually easier to, if you have a lot of wax, break it up with a hammer. It's so much easier than cutting it. Just hit it with a hammer inside of on the ground, maybe on a sheet of plastic, and that way you can get all the little pieces, and just break it up. Stick it in here. You need to put the lid on to actually get it to melt wax. It's just barely hot enough, but only with the lid on. But now the wax is fully melted, and so I'm just gonna brush it on there. So I dip, brush, dip, brush. The wax will end up somewhere on this table. This table is like polyurethane, so I can scrape it with a paint scraper. If you are using this in your house and you want to protect the surface, put down a sheet of aluminum foil. Anyway, I took a little more time than I needed to on this because I was talking. The other piece that I think is important is I actually wax right up here on this underside of the top of the frame. So the frame, this is upside down right now, but I do that because it seems to be that if I don't do that, sometimes the bees will start in the middle. If I start up here and actually wax this underside, for whatever reason, the bees will actually start at the top where they should, and they'll start adhering directly to this wooden board because it's already got wax on it. So for me, that's been a real key pivotal step on getting them to start in the right direction. If you don't do that, sometimes they start right here vertically, and then they'll build this round, and then sometimes they'll connect it. So the little trick I found over the years is start it here, and when I've pulled it out, I've actually seen them start right there at the top at that intersection of the top. And again, This is the right way up, so they'll start underneath here. But anyway, that's the way I do it. I add in, once I got them snapped in there, I brush on, and you really don't even have to put on as much as I'm doing. You can actually feel it once you, once it's on there and it's dried, you can actually see it better. When it's hot, it's hard to see. Also, this wax comes from cutouts and stuff that I've done where I've filtered out the wax, but it's usually brood cum wax, so it's a dark chocolate, like milk chocolate color, versus like the normal bright yellow. So more brood cum wax in here, just because I like to use that for stuff like this for in the hive, and then the real pretty capping wax that's usually light yellow, I save that for like lip balms and stuff, because this does have a little bit of a smell to it. The really bright, pretty wax just smells straight like beeswax, so I save that for any human use. All right, that's it. Thank you, and I'll put out another video next time I can think of something. Thanks, bye.